Well, good morning, Tina. Welcome to Sunshine Parenting.
Good morning. It's always so good to see your face, Audrey.
I know. So here we are entering week 4 for me. I don't know if that, I think you're in the same state that I am. So I think we're all
I
week 4, day 1. So how are you doing?
I'm doing great, actually. I am in Pasadena, California, and I have my college-aged son who's moved back home, which is so sad for him and great for me to have him. And I've got my other two boys, and my son's college girlfriend is here, and she's been with us for almost a month now. So we have six people here, my husband and I, and these four kids between 13 and 20. And I'll tell you, when you have teenagers, it's like back to the newborn feeding schedule. It's like every 3 to 4 hours they need to
Yes.
eat. So I love cooking and baking, and my kids love doing that with me. And so it's honestly, I mean, I know there's a lot of loss and a lot of fear, and I'm experiencing a lot of loss in my business and a lot of fear for vulnerable family members and all of those things. And this sheltering in place time has been better than my normal life in many, many ways. My kids are hunkered in. We're playing board games and speed Scrabble every night. We're sitting and having 2 meals a day together. I mean, it's just, and I'm not traveling. I love my work, but I love being at home. So I'm really cherishing this time. And I go a little stir crazy at times. My friend texted me yesterday and said, I'm trying not to murder anyone. And I responded, how's that going? And she wrote, not very well. So I identify with that too. It's not all, we get tired of each other.
Yeah.
So honestly, the thing I have to have besides sleep is exercise. And it
Hmm.
has to be, for me, I like being outside. I felt like I was going to go crazy yesterday for a little while, and I just went outside without even a purpose. Like, I didn't even say I have to exercise and burn this many calories or go this amount of time. I just went and followed my dog's lead and just outside fresh air, and that was remarkable. What about you? What are you doing to stay sane and grounded?
Well, I think it's so funny because I think it's very similar to what you have going on. Because for me, it's bittersweet because I have these kids home that are not normally home. I even have my 26-year-old daughter who lives 2.5 hours away, who's a teacher,
Right.
who's now doing her remote teaching from home. It's actually technically her spring break. And so it's been fun. And then she got a new puppy. So it's
Oh,
like,
yes,
it's
I've
like,
seen the pictures.
yeah, so it's not even that I have to take care of the puppy. I just get to like love on the puppy and she does the middle of the night stuff and all that. So like you, it's, I'm worried and like there's business stuff and all those things, but at the same time I actually love having more people around. I was thinking in your case too, having someone outside the family like the girlfriend might be good. I know in my family it's always been good when there's like another friend there because it sort of like helps a little bit the behavior of the
Yeah.
siblings with one another. I don't know if you find that, but it's an interesting
Well,
thing.
yeah, and especially because, especially for my college age son, it's his life is supposed to be so social right now, and since we're not interacting with people, having someone that he wants to hang out with here makes him less restless. But he's kind of an introvert too, so like yesterday he just went for a little drive just by himself, just to have, which is great. It's great to do that self-care too, but it's fun to have somebody else in the house, and she's lovely, and we love building relationship with her too, so that's been really fun.
Oh yeah, and that's different for you too because you're used to just having all the boys.
I know, it's so great to have another woman in the house. We actually have our dog who is the same breed as your little grandpuppy, and so the dog and the girlfriend and I, we kind of almost meet the equal numbers of all the boys. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's been fun for me.
That's so fun. Yeah, well, because my early family life was just all girls, and then by the end, my boys are the youngest, so then there were no girls at home. It was just
Right?
me, my husband, and the two boys. So I kind of had like a couple of years of that. So it is always nice to have the girls in there. Okay, well, I just mostly we were talking last week and kind of earlier that I think parents are just being inundated with
Yeah.
so much. It's like even us, like we're people who like, I curate this information. I love trying to find like the best books and podcasts and all of these things that are going to be helpful to parents. And even you and I are feeling a little overwhelmed by just the sheer vast amount of
Yeah.
webinars, I don't know, email. I mean, I have more emails. I can't
Right.
keep up with my email because of just the things that I subscribe to. They've ramped up how many things they're sending. So I'm like,
It is.
so
It's like drinking from a fire hose. You're just
yes.
it's overwhelming. Yeah.
But your messages, I think, are the most important ones that I've want to keep sharing with my community. And I just think, isn't it fortuitous that The Power of Showing Up just came out?
Yes. And we, I really feel for those whose books are launching right now in these weeks when all their speaking has been canceled. Our timing was really lucky. It launched January 7th. So we did all of our public speaking things and book tour. But now I feel like, the message of that book is even more germane now. And I think, the idea in the book is based on 50 years of attachment research that says that one of the best predictors for how well kids turn out is that they have someone who shows up for them, or what's called having had secure attachment. And Dan and I talk about the 4 S's that help promote secure attachment, and that's helping kids feel safe, where we protect them from harm and we don't become the source of fear and terror for them. Seen, where we really look beyond the behavior and we really look at that internal experience, what they're really feeling and experiencing. Soothed, where we nurture them and comfort them and help them, feel okay and safe. And then when kids have enough repeated experiences of feeling safe, seen, and soothed, not perfect, then they develop that 4th S, secure, which is where their brain wires to know that people will show up for them when they need it. And the reason that this, I think, is so interesting right now is the whole purpose of the attachment system in mammals is that during distress, fear, terror, danger, that's when our attachment system is activated. That's when we have that biological drive to go to someone who will help give us the 4 S's. So it's almost like our attachment system is sets us up to be resilient in the face of exactly this type of thing. So I think that's one of the main messages I really want to give teachers and parents is, first of all, you don't have to be perfect. We're all going to be messed up at times. We're going to be fearful. We're going to be grumpy, all those things. Just repair and move on. So that's number one. And the second thing is, just by you walking through this with your child, even in imperfect ways, you're doing it. That's what your kids need most from you, is you. And so that's kind of just a beautiful relief. And it's the kind of thing where we go, okay, I'm going to focus on helping my kids feel safe, seen, and soothed, and just be present to them. And that's all I need to be doing. That's more than good enough parenting.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for giving the message again. I was going to say, I know that people are just knocking down your door wanting to hear you. You're doing webinars for teachers this afternoon and all kinds of stuff. And you have some amazing videos that you've created just in the past couple of weeks that are short. And I just re-listened to them. The really important message about not giving a message of fear, but of safety. And you even just give very specific wording for parents. Like, not that we're, so that you're saying it in a positive way. Like, this is safer for us to stay home right now, as opposed to it's really dangerous out there. These just little tweaks in the way we communicate. I do think one of the things that I love about all your books, and that I think why they're so important that we all read them, is maybe they're on the parenting shelf, but they are for people. They're people books. And I find whenever I read them, including The Power of Showing Up, but also The Yes Brain, that so much of it is really relevant to us as adults. And I think that's an important thing for people to understand, that we are all people with our own feelings going on through this and every other time. And you give the guidance of what we need to do for ourselves too.
Yeah, and we need people who help us feel safe, seen, soothed, and
Yes.
secure. And I think that's a message that's really important to tell parents too, is that, you matter too. And, we sacrifice so much for our kids, and, that mammalian need to be connected and have people show up to us. That's not just for our kids, it's for us. And
Yeah.
like in the Yes Brain, working on our own emotional balance, resilience, insight, and empathy. And I think the reason I feel so fortunate to be doing this work and to have come across this interpersonal neurobiology science and then trying to translate it for people, is that it applies to every relationship and really every person. And even though the focus in the books is parenting, it's based on how the brain works in the context of relationships and how the environment and our experiences change the brain. So that's applicable to everyone, whether they have kids or not, or regardless of the life stage that we're in. Yeah.
Oh, well, definitely. Well, you are just a beacon for me. So thank you for all that you've done before this time, but also during this time. I just really appreciate your words, and just, I feel like you talk us all off the cliff and help us just kind of remember that it's messy. It's going to be messy being home and being all this time together. And there are going to be ups and downs. And like you said, there's just simple things we can do just to keep this, letting our kids know we're here.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're here with you and we're going to be
Yeah.
okay.
And I had a thought this morning, Audrey. I haven't actually, it's probably not, I probably shouldn't just like spitball on, live Facebook, but because it's just a thought I had this morning that I haven't really thought through, but I feel compelled to see what you think and talk about it for just a moment. And that is that I think the scene part of the four S's and really seeing our children's experience is really hard for us when we're in threat states, and things are so unpredictable right now. And what I was thinking about is that I think one of the ways that as parents we mess up when it comes to the scene part is that, like, let's say our kids like flopping on the ground and they're complaining, I hate doing school on the computer, and they're complaining. The way we often respond to that is to be like, you should be grateful you even get to do school at home, and you should be grateful you even have a computer to watch. A lot of kids don't even have that, and we immediately take their complaining and we go through, it's almost like if it was like the Candyland game, we would go through the fear-based parenting forest, and in our minds, and we sort of assume, oh, like it hits a fear button for us, like our child is ungrateful, they're spoiled, they're indulged, and we jump there, and that keeps us from responding. So if I say, just think about this for a minute as an adult, if I say, gosh, I'm so frustrated, I can't go to the store, like we have not had vegetables in 3 days and my delivery is not until tomorrow, and it's so frustrating. And if my husband said, you should be grateful that you even have a credit card that you can order groceries from, I would be so pissed at him, because it really is dismissing of the person's experience. And so when your kid is complaining, it activates a fear or threat response in us, and it's really annoying. But if we can really just be present to our child's experience and say, it is frustrating, isn't it? It's not like it used to be. It's such a bummer. We have to do this right now, isn't it? Just keep it simple. If you are worried about your child's gratitude, indulgence, spoiledness, address that later at dinner time. Say, what are you all grateful for? What do you think that other kids are not getting? And have that be a separate conversation. But if we respond to our children's annoying complaining with argument or criticism, and when we do say you should be grateful of, we are actually criticizing them for sharing what they're feeling. And so our kids will make that association, and they'll go, okay, when I share my feelings with my parent, I get criticized, so that doesn't go so well for me, so I'm going to stop sharing how I feel with my parent. So that's really important.
Oh, yeah.
Go to that scene, validate what they're feeling,
Hmm.
and if it triggers some fear in you, just build those skills, but not in that moment. Don't criticize them.
Yeah.
Make them feel good and safe about sharing those feelings, even if it's annoying complaining.
Oh my gosh, that is so good. We talk about that a lot at camp, just validating, even if it seems unreasonable or ungrateful or whatever it is. And that is so applicable right now, because I think some of the things, especially like adolescents complain about, seem very superficial to us as adults. We're watching people dying and hospitals not having supplies, and there's all these real, like what we feel are like real valid things, and then, not being able to go on their spring break trip.
Right. And you're like, you're so selfish, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and
Okay,
so
for us to feel that, but the thought
yes.
bubble doesn't come out of our mouth.
Yes. So I really appreciate you saying that, because I think and as adults, same thing for our friends and the things they say and do, just validating people, just saying you're heard, and wow, it is really hard, and that is frustrating. And those words that just make you feel like, someone cares. It reminds me, when kids are homesick at camp, they'll sometimes say things that are like really negative, like,
Mhm.
I hate this place. It's not fun. And for counselors, especially counselors who've been there a long time, they're like, it's like a parent feeling like, they're trying to defend their
Right.
camp they love. And so, they're we tell them, you might be thinking like, oh my gosh, how can you hate this place? How can you not be having fun? It's so great. Look at all these other kids having fun. But what you need to say is, wow, you're really having a hard time and not enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
And then the child's like, oh, I can share with you. I will share my feelings with you. But like you said, they'll shut down and won't talk to the counselor if the counselor kind of argues with them about, whether camp is fun or not. It's not about that. It's about their feelings. And you want them to share the feelings, whether or not, whatever so thank you for that reminder. That's so good. I often talk about that with counselors, and I think as parents, we sometimes forget, because like you said, we have this weird sixth sense, like with our own kids, whatever they're doing, we're also thinking, oh my gosh, did I raise a child who XYZ is so selfish or is not grateful? And so you're thinking, oh my gosh, I need to fix this. So, oh my gosh, this was wonderful. Well, thanks for those insights. I'm glad for you shared your early morning insights. They are spot on.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on today. I will share in the comments everything that you have shared already with parents, these little 2-minute videos, and also our podcast episode that we did in January about the power of showing up, if people want to hear more about that. And thank you so much. Stay well, and we will be in touch. And thank you for continuing to just be a light during this dark time for all of us.
Audrey. And I think the book, your book, Happy Campers, is such a great time now too, because it's full of all kinds of rituals and activities that parents can do when they're at home and creating what's happening now. So I've been recommending your book a lot right now too. So thank you for being such a light in the world as well.
Yeah, maybe people have time to read it now. Who knows?
Oh, I've read it.
I know. No, I mean other people though, like people who've been too busy because they've been driving their kids to all these activities. Now they might have some time, so it's good. Okay, take care, Tina. We'll see you again soon, okay?
Take care.